All right. Yes. Yes. Perfect. All right. So we're going to get going. So now that we have pretty much everyone here, again, apologize for the delay. And we had some technical issues to resolve. Thank you. Thank you. Again, everyone is here. Again, I think everybody knows me, but in case you haven't seen or heard me before, this is Grandmaster Eugene Perelshteyn. Thank you for attending our class today. I'll be talking to you about my experience at the candidates at the FIDE 2024 candidates in Toronto. And I came for only 3 rounds. And one of the key rounds was Hikaru was playing Fabi. We're going to start with this game here today. So again, we're going to be using the chat for any questions, guys. So again, if you have any questions, do let me know in the chat. All right, perfect. So let's start with this game, and we'll be kind of going over my impressions of the candidates, this game, and in general, what went wrong for Fabi, and how Gukesh, the youth, 17-year-old, who is turning, I think, 18 in May, won the tournament. So let's start, guys. So first, we're going to look at the game when I was physically there watching the game Hikaru against Fabi. This is the second leg of the tournament. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6. So far, so good. We actually had majority of the games played E4, except the last round. The top leaders, Hikaru, Gukesh, and Fabi Nipo, was D4 opening. Andrew says, I think I saw you in the background of the broadcast. Yeah, I was there during one of the FIDE interviews, and you might have seen me there. Okay, so let's see what happened after a6, bishop a4, knight f6, so far so good, d3, and then bishop c5. Bishop c5 was slightly unusual. Fabi, I know, published the big Archangel course for Chessable. How many of you guys have seen this course? b5 followed by bishop c5. You saw me in the Chess Dojo. Yes, I was doing the commentary a little bit for them. Anybody has gotten the Fabi course? What do you think of that course, by the way, the Archangel? This is a very interesting course. All right, Wesley's already jumping to Ding versus Guke. Okay, let's hold off there, guys. We know everyone is excited about the upcoming match, but first let's talk about this one. Oh, Chess Dojo is your favorite broadcast. Great to hear, Oscar. Ding, okay. So people have clear preferences. So yeah, this is an interesting course that Fabi published on Chessable. And the Archangel idea is they push the bishop back. Probably Hikaru was expecting this. And instead, Fabi plays this delayed b5. He's not even going to play b5. He just plays bishop c5. And then castles. By the way, bishop takes c6 is not as good, guys. This is pretty obvious. Okay, guys, please focus on the game at hand. Then we can discuss toward the end your preferences. What happens after d takes c? Can I take the e pawn? Can I take on e5 or no, guys? Uh-huh. Yeah, what is going on after bishop e3 there? Is this a line? Yes, you couldn't take on f2. Yeah, Vihan is correct. You can insert this as well with this check. Interesting line. You can also play queen d4 right away. In that case, you will allow this bishop e3, queen takes d4 idea. And we're not even done with this line yet, right, guys? Because there's very simple queen takes. Yep. And then queen takes g2. So you see, you don't want to be white in any of these positions. So that's why nobody really takes on c6. He just castled. Okay, d6. Now this is a threat. Bishop takes c6, followed by knight takes e5. That would be a true pawn sack. And so c3, castles, rook e1, all standard stuff. Knight e7. Pretty standard idea. The knight gets rerouted to g6. Nothing new here. Knight d2, knight g6, knight f1, d5. So it looks like an Italian. Yeah, it's like a hybrid Italian. Bishop's usually on c4. Here it's on a4. Like a reverse Italian. Yeah, these positions you get from both sides. d5. Okay, interesting moment of the game. Hikaru takes on d5, but does not take the pawn. Let's discuss this briefly, guys. Why didn't Hikaru grab the central pawn? Very simple answer. Yep. Good job, guys. So yeah, the idea is you can take. And now bishop takes f2. And the point is there is this check and the rook is lost. So this is one of the reasons. So this is a known tactic in these positions. So that's why Hikaru plays bishop b3 and Fabi plays c6. Very interesting imbalance. This is a little awkward with this a6, c6. But on the other hand, black has nice bishop, nice knight, nice pawn. Again, taking on e5 is not recommended. Here, Hikaru surprised me, guys. He played this move d4. I'm not a big fan of this move. I was thinking that maybe bishop g5 makes more sense to induce some weakness like f6, and then this d4 comes in with more firepower because this king is weakened. Do you guys agree? Bishop g5, bishop d2 feels a little bit more natural to induce this weakness. Yeah, so Hikaru kind of surprised me. He played the immediate d4, pawn takes, knight takes, and then we have total symmetry. Question from Owen, why not bishop g5, bishop e3? You mean like here, Owen? Why not this plan? Yeah, I mean, this plan doesn't really accomplish a whole lot because keep in mind, just because you have the spin, it doesn't mean that there's any serious danger, right? I can just maybe slide my king out of the pin. Generally speaking, d4 is your plan regardless anyways. So I don't know if bishop e3 is worthwhile. Yeah, black now has equalized. That's good. So you guys now see two 2800s. Let's round Hikaru up to 2800. Two 2800s players have roughly equal position. And after knight f6, Hikaru allows the IQP, takes, and knight d5. Now, in my experience, having the knight in front of the IQP and it's protected tells me black is completely fine. Yet, we all know how this game finished, right? I don't have to remind you. In about 5 moves from now, black is fighting for his life. And then 10 moves from now, it's pretty much over. Something like that, right? So tell me, you're a 2800 rated player. You have a pretty solid position as black. What happens? How did Fabi lose this one? You forgot this game. Yeah, this is a painful game. And the answer, guys, is not really chess related. Yeah, you can try to figure out like why chess-wise Fabi lost, but it has nothing to do with chess. Think about the candidates tournament is one of the most important tournaments for these guys, right? That means nerves at some point and time pressure because they don't have any time added increment for the move until move 40. So this is unlike any other tournament you're used to. And Hikaru, for those of you who watched his recaps, by the way, I highly recommend you watch his recaps because, you know, he's talking how he's thinking. Really stresses that you have to think about proper time management. He himself admitted he had some bad time management issues at times during this tournament. At times he played too fast. At times he played too slow. So you have to be just right. And the person who has the best nerves, the best time management, and the best, you know, kind of chess preparation usually wins. And Gukesh definitely had all of the 3 components. Okay, so let's see what happened to Fabi. From a good position, how he slowly got into trouble. Bishop c2, no threats whatsoever. Bishop e6, logical move. Knight g3. Yeah, the last game was pretty sad, right? Fabi had a lot of wins in that game, but some of the wins toward the end were pretty difficult. Fabi is not the best at fast time control. I would disagree with that, Oscar. Fabi has proven in the past few years he's actually much better. But yeah, he just didn't do good job in this candidates. Yeah, 3,050 blitz on chess.com. I don't think I can reach 3,000 blitz on chess.com. Maybe one of you guys can reach 3,000, but that's not an easy one. You played title Tuesday, and how did you do against Fabi? How did you do that game, Andrew? You got cooked. Okay, well, see, it tells you that Fabi is pretty good in blitz. So let's not say that he's bad and shorter time controls. He drew Nepo, both were crying. So let's keep looking at the game. Okay, let's focus on the game. Knight f4. Okay, I think it's a reasonable move by Fabi. He wants to activate the knight, maybe entertaining the idea of putting pressure. Hikaru plays rook e4. Interesting move, so obviously pressure the knight. Knight back to d5. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Fabi has repeated the position a little bit, but maybe he thought it's like a silent draw for to Hikaru. He's like, oh, black is pretty solid. I don't think white got anything out of the opening. But okay, Hikaru plays a3. Nothing special yet. Rook e8, so far so good. Bishop d2, right? As I mentioned, both sides have managed just to develop, but they're not really making any serious progress. The game is even. And then knight f6 is played. That move is fine, but already I don't understand it. The knight is doing a good job in the center. Why not just get the queen to free the rook? And I mean, any move with the queen. Queen d7, queen d6, queen b6 is my favorite move to keep an eye on that pawn and this pawn, and then rook d8. I don't understand, guys. Why wouldn't Fabi do something simple like that? Maybe he's overthinking it, right? Instead of playing the simplest move. I'm sure if this was a blitz game, he'll play one of these moves in a second. So he starts to overthink it. And then when you start to overthink it, you may start overcalculating, maybe miscalculate, and bad things happen. So he starts with this knight f6 move, bishop g5, already annoying pin. He played h6. Bishop takes f6, queen takes f6. Not bad, guys. It's not that bad for black. Black is about to activate the other rook, right? Put some pressure on that weak pawn. But Hikaru plays queen d2, and all of a sudden, there's a little bit of difficulties here for Fabi, believe it or not, because there's some attacking ideas. For instance, if you play bishop to d5, I play rook g4. I think Fabi must have underestimated this, and then knight h5 is coming. And all of a sudden, this king does not feel safe. So that's maybe what he was worried about. Knight h5 is on the agenda. And that's why he played queen g5. Okay, it's a decent move. Rook e3, not bad, but queen c3 apparently is a little bit better, but it wasn't obvious during the game why. Rook e3 is okay. Here, Fabi could simplify into forcing line. He thought for 20 minutes. I was watching this. Fabi went into a tank. And then he plays shocking move knight f4. The most obvious move in the world, rook a8. Somebody asked earlier, what about rook a8? Well, in this position, rook a8 is perfectly fine. But after double, you have to start worrying about this little x-ray on that rook. Of course, c5 is on the agenda. There's another x-ray, right? This pawn is pinned. So this is some calculation. Knight e4 hitting the queen. And maybe he didn't like something about this line. There's lots of moves to calculate. Queen d5, knight takes c5, queen takes c5, pawn takes, rook takes, but the line doesn't stop. Bishop takes g6. And now we play rook takes b2. I don't see any problems, honestly, guys. Bishop f5, so what? I'm going to go after these pawns. I can play rook c2. You can take on e6. Yeah, if anything, I don't know, black is better, but I would say about equal. So again, hard to understand what he specifically missed. Rook a8 is the most natural move. And he definitely calculated this one, but he must have missed something. And then he falls apart pretty dramatically. h4, excellent move. I'm sure he missed h4. If queen takes h4, rook e4, g5, this queen is completely stuck. And now you can just play rook a to e1. Maybe he didn't want to draw. I don't know. I think he was happy with the draw with black. But who knows? So this is already dangerous. He went back to d5, instead queen d8, but that's a very difficult move, right? Because he kind of admits all his previous moves were just garbage if you have to make queen d8. So he played queen d5, rook e4, good move by Hikaru, pushing the knight back. Hikaru doubled. White is clearly better. There is nice pressure here. h5 is coming. Queen is not very stable at all. Queens, guys, are notoriously the worst blockaders in chess, right? Because she can be attacked pretty much by any piece. If he had drawn this, he would have been, yeah, well, if, but, then what? Who knows? Maybe the turn would have gotten different. Knight f8, and then we are pretty much getting killed. h5, simple and strong. I like this. Bishop d7, take, knight f5. Surprisingly, black is busted. Believe it or not, the eval is not just white is better. Black is completely lost. This combo, knight, pawn, rook, e7 square is weak. All of black's pieces are terrible. This is just game over. Queen f6, queen b4. And now remarkable tactic. Okay, position is completely lost. You have to give up the pawn. Okay, guys, who remembers this tactic? Pretty easy one. White to play and win. By the way, Vishy Anand, for those who are watching the official commentary, saw this even before it happened, and he pointed out. All right, let's see. Most people are getting this. Yep. Looks like everyone's got it. Just like that, the 2800 player misses and resigns. What a shocker. Game's over in 35 moves. I can't believe it. I can't believe it, guys. He went from a completely fine position right here to devastating loss. Like, how could you lose this position? Looks fine to me. Looks fine. Looks fine. Play any move except knight f6, you're fine. This is also fine. Okay, play this. And now, how could you not play rook a8? Shocker, guys. Shocker. So, yeah, you have some interesting, shocking games like this. Let me give you some highlights I want to show you. Let's go. Vidit Guki. Oh, yeah, this game is awesome. I'm going to flip the board. This is one of the simplest, most beautiful, and effective games of the tournament with the beautiful checkmates ideas. How many of you have seen this game? You might have already seen some recaps of this game. Me. Okay, so some people have seen it. So, okay, those who already know, when I ask you questions, try to keep quiet or answer directly to me. You forgot it. Okay, good. So we'll remind you. So it starts with a very interesting opening choice, right? We have the Italian, but now instead of the classic bishop e7 or bishop c5, a6. Whoa, what a shocker. He's inviting the fried liver. So clearly he had some prep here with d5. But then it gets better, guys. Castles and h6. What? What is he doing with these two moves? Who can tell me? Anybody, any ideas, or everyone is still shocked? Well, I can tell you what he is thinking. He wants to be flexible to put the bishop here or here based if white commits the c pawn. If white plays c3, he wants the bishop to go there. I mean, sorry, if white commits c3, rather, he wants the bishop to go here. If white commits a4, he wants the bishop to go here. That's the difference. So he's waiting for white to commit to one of these two moves. So h6 basically stops knight g5. And black has a well-known setup in this position, bishop e7, castles, a4. And then white can expand, and the bishop has retreat squares. So he's trying to stop this plan. Now, after castles h6, Vidit plays a4 because he's like, well, I know that bishop on e7, but no, Gukesh plays bishop c5, and Vidit gets tricked. Very clever opening prep. Did that make sense? Or is it too much? Anyone understood that? Eric says yes. Maybe like I went a little bit too deep. Yes, yes. Okay, good. All right, so let's keep going. You got it. Okay, so bishop already not a great response, but okay, Vidit's out of book. We can hardly blame him for a simple move like bishop e3. C3 probably is still more logical with pretty complicated game, but okay, bishop e3. Isn't this all well theory? Well, I wouldn't say if it's theory, just very standard structures. d6 is fine. Knight bd2, castles, c3. Now he could have taken on c5, and this is roughly equal structure. Black has pawns that are looking at the center, but these are doubled. I don't know, roughly even, I would say. In the game, black could take on e3 first and play this structure with knight e7. The knight goes here, and then you prep for d5 push. Instead, he goes here. Now, again, Vidit has another chance. He could play this queen b3, interesting idea. And the point is, after rook here, we can take, and then queen c2 to get out from knight a5. White has a slightly better pawn structure here, but nothing special. So again, he doesn't do that. He plays b4, takes. And then we're getting to the critical moment. What do you guys think about this b5? I think Vidit was in a fighting mood that day. He wanted to play for win. He's like, I am Vidit. You cannot play these stupid moves against me. And he totally lost his control. This is definitely a move that could ruin you. Have you guys heard the famous expression, pawns cannot go backwards in chess? Yes. Okay. So this is an example why. Now the knight gets to redirect to c5. You may say, okay, what's the big deal? I'm going to play d4. Well, things are not so simple. Look at this. First, he trades. He plays queen c2. He plays d4. Logical to stop knight c5. So it seems that this and this favors white. White has this big center. But the problem is, you're exactly right. Yep, you guys are pointing out e4 is now weak. And very nice move, queen e8 points that out. By the way, my friend, your pawn is weak. And you're also overextended over here. I get to take and open the file if your rook moves. And that's exactly what happens. Rook a e1. Oops. And that's the file. So already the engine recommends this move d5. This is not a human move. I cannot make myself play a move like that. It feels like a strategic suicide, giving up this outpost. But the engine says, what's the big deal? I'm just going to lock up the game with c4. But the whole point, like the b5 and d4 don't go well with d5. So he tries to play this move, gives up the open file, and that's it. Within a few moves, white initiative fizzles out. Black is going to take over, double, then triple on the a file. And this is a good game that illustrates that one open file, even though you can sense that there's not much happening in the a file, is enough for white to lose the game. And the rest is just perfectly played. I'm going to show you b6, rook f2, rook a2, rook a3, and then queen a4. Okay, lost attempt. Here's a big debate. I was analyzing this with the Chess Dojo, with Jesse Cry. We were debating whether to play G6 or immediate Rook A8. What do you guys think? Let's ask people in the chat. G6 or Rook E to A8 and not care. Now you might already know the game, so if you do, don't answer. Okay, let's see. People are saying Rook E8. Some people said G6. Rook A8. Rook A8. All right, so you guys definitely are all little Gukeshes out there because you play Rook A8. This move you play when you can calculate like a monster. Because Gukesh understood that knight f5 was very dangerous, but he saw this next move. King f8. What an amazing move. What an amazing move. You just stop this knight e7 altogether. The king can fend for himself. And even though white can double, you cannot have any threats without the queen. Very, very cool-headed decision. But for those who did say g6, you're not wrong. You are actually slightly better after king g7. Black is still a little bit better. Okay, so both are correct, but this is definitely much more concrete. I always tell people in Buckhouse, the king can defend himself. Well, I'm not sure about the Buckhouse if the king can defend. Yeah. Yeah, you probably need a lot of pawns around the king, right? Knight f5, king f8, rook doubles, rook a1, and that's it. Queen b4, and here comes the... Yeah, this is just a desperation. White is already busted. Takes, knight c4, queen e1. Uh-oh. As Hikaru likes to say, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. We're getting a checkmate around white's king now. Black's king is totally safe. So this line is beautiful. Check, check, knight df6. So we have some g5 ideas. And that's it, guys. This is pretty much game over. Knight took, queen h2, mate, by the way. Knight f5, rook f1. So the idea is to take mate. And yeah, the beautiful line is this. Rook f4 takes mate. And let's see. Rook takes f5 is another one. Mate. Yeah, so in the game, he played g4. Bam, rook takes f5. So this is how the game should have ended. Now, if Vidit was a streamer like Hikaru, there is content. The chess fans have to enjoy this position. What a beautiful checkmate. So that was it, guys. That's the finishing touch. Let me see if I can have a quick one for you, because we have to finish up soon. Oh yeah, let me do this one. This is like a quick one. I'm going to do it from white point of view. So this is a King's Indian pawn structure, right? Reverse color. Clearly this bishop is a little misplaced. This guy is passive. White is better, but how would you play this for white, guys? White has several good plans. Anybody? The shoe game, yes, that's the one. For those who don't know, I don't think I was there physically in the room. I think I was in the spectators' room. What the story was that it's like an old building. The floors are creaky, and Firouzja went behind like the players area and was pacing back and forth. But that area was very close to Abbasov game. And I guess Abbasov complained to the TD, and TD told Firouzja to walk slower or quieter. And it sort of started this whole like, oh, I got distracted. Although, I don't know, if he was really distracted about this, because it was actually toward the beginning. Abasa was mad he didn't win a single game. I mean, if you're 2600 playing against these monsters, not easy. They posted the video leading to. Okay, I see. Anyways, let's focus on this position. So clearly, white is better, but how would you follow it up? What Firouzja did made sense. He kind of chose the most risk-free approach. Yeah, Austin suggests very interesting line. As a matter of fact, I kind of like this line. You're on the chess-based commentary video. Okay, that's good. Bishop takes it. Yeah, so most of you are kind of like on the right spot. So yeah, I thought this was the simplest, honestly. I don't know if I would necessarily trade my knight for this bishop. It's like a Dream Kings. Then you launch the attack and you go for checkmate. So obviously this is the plan. And then just checkmate this king. But okay, he took here first, which is not bad. And then he did this. Here, though, Nepomniachtchi shows amazing defensive skills, guys. Connect 4, as Hikaru says. Right? This bishop is pretty bad. Amazing defensive skills. I think most players would crumble under pressure, especially playing Firouzja. But Black came up with a brilliant defensive plan. Tell me the defensive plan, guys. There's only one correct plan. Otherwise, you're busted. If you said the king walk, you're 100% correct. Good job, guys. Look at that. F6, king F7, the correct plan. So you must have seen this idea before. And you just escape, emergency escape from the side. Now, Rook A2 is a little bit too straightforward, right? He wants to do this. But A5 is quite clever. I think this is not so clear for Black how to handle this, because now I'm threatening to open up a second avenue of attack. Yeah, B5, and then maybe, what was I thinking here? Was it B4? B4 or A6? No, if A6, then you may lock with B4. Maybe B4 first. Right, so I'm trying to open up this king a little bit. Yeah, C4. But okay, at least things are open. I can play B5, and this is kind of crazy, right? So this one, you may not survive. Anyways, he plays too straightforward, and Nepo comes up with this beautiful idea, A5, and then white just transfers everybody over. White plays this very nice exchange sack. But the problem is, it's a fortress. It's a fortress, guys. You can't win this. There's no way. B4 or C3 are the only breaks. You can't have any breaks. It's +1, but the problem is +1. It doesn't get anywhere more than +1, right? The engines sometimes don't understand the concept of a fortress. No, the engine is not wrong. It's just that the engine inherently doesn't understand the concept of a fortress. So that's why it's like white is better, but you can't make progress. So that's why Firouzja didn't really try too much. They kind of shuffled. So I feel like he missed his chance, and they agreed to a draw. All right, so with that, maybe we can finish it up today, because we had a shorter class session. I prepared some more games, but I know people are busy. Maybe next time I'll cover some more games. But yeah, my overall impression, very well organized tournament. It was a long tournament, 3 weeks of playing chess. I think it was, in general, fun for the fans. There was a fan zone. You can go to the balcony. You can get autographs with the players. And, I saw them exiting the playing room. I saw them inside the playing room from the balcony. So it was a pretty interesting experience. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again. Bye, everyone.